Well, ministry life is filled with the day-to-day stresses and challenges of working in a parish.
It's so easy to just get bogged down in the tasks of getting done what you need to get done.
We don't really have time to stop and reflect on what we're doing or why we're doing it or how we might do it better.
There's so much stuff going on all the time that you don't have a real good chance to see exactly what you're doing all the time.
Conversatio is a program designed by St. John's School of Theology to provide support and encouragement to the church's ministers. One of the most invaluable resources that's available to us are the ministers themselves. There were 4 ways in which we initially began our work. One was the design of pastoral retreats that would give ministers a chance to come away for 8 days for prayer and reflection. The second was called the Ministry Colloquium, and that gathered together teams from 4 parishes throughout the region for a year of conversation about issues important to the ministry. The third was called the Ministry Learning Community, and these were small grants that we were able to make to groups of ministers who were interested in designing their own ongoing formation and a continuing education. And the final effort, which is continuing, is our efforts to advance certification for lay ecclesial ministry. What we've discovered in these 4 initiatives is really the power of conversation. At one level it sounds quite simple, just get people together to talk to one another. But actually, when you structure a conversation, you ask the sorts of questions that get people to go below the surface. What we've learned from participants in Conversatio about the impact of conversation is its power to help them see more clearly what it is they're called to do and who they are called to be as a leader in the church.
So we would gather together and have great conversations here at St. John's in the Communio program about lay ecclesial ministry. And it was kind of a self-reflective program where we would look at ourselves and say, how are we called into ministry? What are some ways we can share best practices among ourselves and have great conversation about sustaining ministry and really growing ministry within our parish.
My colleagues and I were defining what the role of parish administrators do in the parish, not just in a business sense, but we talked about our role as a minister in terms of fulfilling the mission of the parish to the people of God in that particular parish.
In parish life today, I think one of the difficulties has been kind of a siloing of ministry and kind of professional groups that come together and stuff, but the overall direction of the ministry in the parish isn't sustained or supported by everyone all the time. But I really think what the St. John's program has done for us is it allowed us to begin to think as a group about parish life.
Part of our human dynamic is that we want to have a continuous sense of growth and progress. And how do you bring that sense of growth and development and progress to your local parish community if you don't take time once in a while to just reflect on the journey and think about where you've been, where you are, and where you're going? And maybe that's the most important thing that our participation in the Ministry Colloquium provided for us. It gave us that opportunity to really reflect on that journey that we were on together as a parish.
The thing about the conversation with other lay ecclesial ministers around the table and with professors and leaders in lifelong learning is that we're able to share practices among each other, we're able to share our experiences. And I really think through that experience, the conversation, we really are able to build better communities when we go back into our own individual parishes.
What this grant process allowed us to do, it gave us permission to take time away from our busy schedules to have these conversations that we all think about. We have thoughts about it and we have opinions about it, but they stay dormant in our mind until you have a opportunity or have a place where you can come together and actually share with other people what your thoughts are about these issues and how we can better our profession.
I think I knew that conversation and communication are important, but knowing and understanding are two different things.
In my mind, it's not a matter of having conversations with those with whom I want to have conversations alone, but it's a matter that conversation opens us up to wider communions, and that's I think the biblical pattern for the way that we participate in God's project, if you will. The conversation is modeling, really, in a way, the kind of conversation we hope to have within the parish itself.
The conversation, the reflection about ministry has really helped sustain me as a lay ecclesial minister.
So when you bring that back to your community, you infuse it with a sense of renewed energy and vitality.
The gathering of ministers together to talk about our work and our ministry really is an extremely helpful way for me to do a better job at my job.
I can't say enough about how good it's been in terms of helping us to grow. We got a long way to go, I think, but the program really gave us a structure by which we could begin to look at these questions in a much more holistic way.
St. John's University exists to prepare leaders to serve in the Christian community. Conversatio provides the resources, processes, programs, and sustained conversation that will nurture our pastoral leaders for the Christian communities they serve for a lifetime. The Conversatio offerings are vital to the mission of sustaining pastoral excellence for pastoral leaders.